aerated compost tea, and how you would make an extract. So the first thing that's important is good clean water. So here we are on well water, which is great because it has some, some minerals and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have are the chlorines or chloramines. Now if you're in San Diego County, our water has not just chlorine in it. With chlorine, that would be really easy to get out. We would just put on our little lid here, we'd hook up our aerator to it, turn it on, and it would be shooting air through it, and that would literally just cause the chlorine to evaporate off. Right? 30 minutes, we're safe, we're good to go. The chloramines, it's a special form of chlorine that has, I think, ammonia or ammonium or something like that that's bound to it. And we actually need to break that bond in order so that we can free up the dissipation of the chlorines. And so the way that we do that is, one, we can use a humic acid or a fulvic acid, both of which are actually byproducts of compost. So we can make our own just by basically taking some good compost and running water through it. And that darker liquid is going to contain humic acids and fulvic acids.
Even though the water had chloramine in
Got
it?
a busy weekend. Alright, so chloramines. So if we have chloramines in our water and we want to dissipate them, we could do that with the fulvic or humic acids.
You just pour it in the water?
Yep.
And that's it?
Yep.
Okay.
And all you're looking for, and a lot of times like your humic acids might even come in the form of like a liquid. You can sometimes purchase it. And what you're looking for is like, it's just sometimes a few drops even.
Okay.
Is all it takes. I mean, and it literally dissipates those chloramines within seconds. It breaks that bond and they're able to kind of free. The other thing you could do is ascorbic acid, also known as vitamin C. Right, so you can just go to like the store there and you can get some vitamin C tablets. This 500 milligrams, this can actually be used for about 50 gallons of water. Right, so it doesn't take much. Crush it up, throw it in there, throw the bubbler on, and you're good to go. Okay, so that's the two ways that we can work that. So clean water, get that off to a good start. You add in your humic or fulvic acids if you need to. Here we're going to add in some fulvic acid just because that's good for the soil. And when I got some stuff at the store the other day, they just threw in this packet of full humic, humic acid content. This would be like, in terms of being able to destroy chloramines, enough for like a whole huge amount. This is a concentrate. This is what they would use basically to create some of those liquid ones. And you could use it as a seed soak here at a 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water. Right? So in here we have like a good solid 1/8 of a cup or 1/4 cup. We're just going to use it all because we're going to spread this around the property. So we got some good goodies in there. Stir that in a bit. So that would take care of our issues with chloramines. And for a compost tea, we're only using like an ounce, right? So that would be something like, that. But since we're only going for 20 minutes and we want to kind of spread these around, we're not quite breeding these to the populations that we would get in a full 24 hours. All we're doing is try to knock them off the compost and then get them out into the soil. And so we're going to add a little bit more so that once they become active in the soil, now they have some more food to be able to spread and go. So I'll give it a couple ounces. Alright, so the other thing we're going to add then is the liquid seaweed. Alright, and so this, for be about a 1/2 ounce, something like that. We're going to add in a little bit more because we're spreading it around. And then same with the fish hydrolysate. Shake it up. So sometimes, you want to look at it and kind of, this one here, it's like hydrolyzed fish fertilizer. So right there it says, sometimes it'll say fish emulsion, and that's like the one that's missing all the good complex proteins. So that's not going to be good fungal food. It'll be alright for bacteria, but not for the fungi. This is going to smell not that great. But this kind of stuff I think you could make. I think the traditional way is you just blend it up and store it in water for a long while, and there's like some anaerobic decomposition happening. Many fishing villages and stuff like that seem to make these types of products with their carcasses. Okay, so then we would want our compost. So a cup of compost. We put our bubbler on and then that's good to go. Actually, for compost tea, I tend to strain it all. So I usually have like a little paint strainer bag that I put all that into, so it's easy to kind of pull it out later. But this one here, because we're just doing it as a soil drench, I didn't do that. And so I just want to make that clarification. So normally paint strainer bag that would dangle off to the side there.
If you're going to put it in a sprayer.
Yeah. If you're going to do an aerated compost tea, yeah. So that just kind of keeps them going there. We're going to add a few other things here just because we can. One of those is a little bit of the free-living nitrogen-fixing bacteria. We'll just add a little bit of them in there. Here is like another little sample of compost somebody gave me. We'll add just a bit of that in there. I have some rock dust here. We're just going to go ahead and add that in there.
Here's the obviously the scientific method.
So here's a paint strainer bag. Alright, so you can see like the mesh, it's pretty small. That contains a lot of the stuff, but allows like the chunkies to kind of stay in there. But the biology is able to get knocked off, and that can easily pass through here. The other thing I'm going to add in here is a little bit of mycorrhizal inoculant. So this is one of those commercial products. So chances are it's not going to last forever. So within here, this particular one says that it usually lists the ones they have. Usually these are a mix of, this one uses Glomus interides. Actually just one. Many of them contain about 10 different strains. Add it in there. So got that. Now if we didn't want to use this purchased product, and I don't necessarily encourage anybody to go out and buy stuff for this kind of thing. The way that we can get our own local indigenous varieties are going out to those places around our property where we have a good, the conditions for them. So here, I would maybe go out into like the chaparral area and dig around in the mulch right under some of the shrubs, like the areas that have actually organic matter, and when you pull back that organic matter, there is a little bit of layer of topsoil. And scoop up some of that. That's going to be loaded with just billions of different organisms that we can then put into our compost extract, or we can put through our compost piles and all of that kind of stuff. And that's a good practice that I like to do for my compost piles at home. Anytime I'm out hiking, if I have a little bag with me, I'll do that from any place that I'm at. Farms, natural areas, anywhere. And I bring that and I first put it back through my compost pile. So that gets a diversity of biology going through there. So, I know that I have a lot of different things that are, potentially growing or dormant or whatnot. But if the conditions favor them, they'll come to life and do their thing. But even here, we could pull back some of those leaves, and there's going to be some type of mycorrhizal inoculants in here. This isn't the best area that I would look at just because the soils are pretty depleted and all that, but that's one way that you can create your own inoculants at home.
You want some?
Sure, let's go ahead and throw it in. Okay.
So in that case, you would put your compost plus your sample from a good area in your property or wherever into the bag?
Yep. And we're going to turn it on. Just the cord we're a little longer. And we're just going to leave it for, 20, 30, 40 minutes until we get down there, we plant our seeds, and by the time we've done all that stuff and taken some more cuttings and all of that, we can come back here and then spread this just drenched around our plants. You see that bubbling? So super vigorous. Everybody getting in there and seeing that? Yep. Oh.
Is that a gross anaerobic one?
Yeah. We got a great example here of an anaerobic one. So this is a aquarium pump. And this
With an
little
air
hose
stone.
comes off, and there's a little tiny air stone. And see how it's like coated with
Started out white.
right? So that's not going to be good. And then stick your nose in there and smell that.
It's bad, huh?
Just tell us.